Good morning. Actually, I should say good afternoon. I just noticed by the clock timer that it's 11:59. It's 1 minute until the afternoon. So, good afternoon. I am here to talk about this is the first installment of talking about the use of the past perfect tense. And I like to teach grammar without focusing on the names, the forms of grammar. The fact that we call it past perfect tense is really not significant. And why? Well, because language is just talking. Because to learn to speak your first language, your mother tongue, in your case, if you're one of my viewers, your first language is Spanish, you already know right now how to say everything you need to say. You know how to speak Spanish without needing to be able to explain how Spanish works. You don't need anybody to explain the rules of grammar of Spanish for you to know how to talk. And I would bet, I'm fairly sure that you do not know what the forms of grammar are called in Spanish. The forms that you use speaking all the time. And does it matter? Is it important? No. No, you probably have no idea of the names of the verb tenses, like most English speakers also do not have. And you probably already had to learn them in school, and you forgot, right? Like most English speakers, it was the same for us. And you probably wondered then, when you were in school, why do I need to know this stuff? It seems obvious to me. It seems clear that to speak a language well, you don't need to dig into the details. You don't need to understand all the intricate details of all of its rules. Because the fact is, without knowing that you already know, if you know what I mean. What I mean is, could you speak Spanish before your first class in grammar in your primary school? Of course you could. You didn't need that class in grammar to teach you how to speak Spanish. You already knew how to speak. And it was the same for us in English, and that's why we were always asking ourselves, why do I have to learn this crap? So why don't we focus on learning English the same way that you learn Spanish as your first language? It worked for me. It's how I learned to speak Spanish without a teacher. And I can tell you that this is a growing teaching method that works. It's called learning in context. You only need a little bit of the basics, just a little bit of the basics. Don't waste all your time studying grammar. An amazing point, an interesting point to me is that go back in your mind to when you were in school. You were learning the rules of grammar in a Spanish grammar class. At the same time, you also might have been learning English in another class. So tell me your experience. Please, I'm asking for your comments in the YouTube comments, if you're watching this directly on YouTube, or comment on my Facebook page where I post this. Let me know, did your English teacher or your Spanish teacher in school show you that you were actually learning the same grammar in both languages? I think probably not. I think the answer is no. And I'd really like to know this. I really want to know, because in my experience, language teachers generally do not show you the commonality between languages. And it's a very powerful, useful thing to know. But language teachers rarely show you that the rules of grammar in one language are just like the rules of grammar for another language. All you have to do is some word substitution. Why don't they do this? Well, I believe there's no reason that they do this. Maybe it's just tradition. Maybe it's just that people tend to keep doing things the same way over and over and over because that's the way you do it. That's the way it's done. That's the way other people do it, so that's the way I'm going to do it. Well, I don't want to get hung up on this topic. I don't want to waste time on this topic. There's this subject of the similarities in grammar between Spanish and English. Instead, I'm here to talk about a specific grammar without an emphasis on its name. I'm here to talk about a specific structure we use daily in English and that we use daily in Spanish, and that you already know. The majority of the English teaching that I see, when it teaches about a verb tense, most English teachers describe the conditions of time in English, and then they tell you how to form sentences that fit this time structure. Things that, how do you choose the words that match the conditions of time? And all in English, of course. Always all in English. And why always all in English? There's always this focus, this emphasis on English only, which, in my opinion, is bold. Why not use what you already know to help you learn even more? Like when a new car is designed, the designers don't have to go out and invent a wheel, right? The wheel exists. It already exists. Thousands of cars roll around on wheels. And before engines, they were rolling around on vehicles for centuries, hundreds of years, thousands of years. But do they have to reinvent the wheel to build a new car? No. Well, why should learning language be different? Why do we have to look at the rules of English as being something that was invented for English? They were not invented for... Oh, crap, look. How much time have I wasted here? I didn't get to the point. I hope you're still here. I hope you're not tired of listening to me. I hope you didn't shut me off. So I tell you what, I just decided this will be a two-part video. I didn't mean to ramble on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to keep talking like this without getting to the point. The point is the past perfect tense. That's what I wanted to talk about. But I had not meant to do this when I had started. I had not meant to bore you. I hadn't meant to bore you like this. So I'm sorry. So just stay tuned. And you know what else I just decided? I'm not stuck on this English only idea. Since most viewers here are Spanish speakers, Part two might not be in English only, or at least I might use some visual aids, some pictures, some text on the screen to help you understand the concepts while we talk about it. We might put the visual aids in English, and we might put the visual aids in Spanish, and then we'll talk about them in English or something like that. We'll experiment and see what you like. And then I really welcome your comments. I want to know what you think of these videos. And I'll see you soon in what now is going to be part 2.